Welcome back to the Federal Executive Forum on Federal News Network. We are talking about IT modernization, and we're talking about priorities. Gardy, I'm going to start with you. Give us your top two priorities over there at the Department of Energy.
Thanks for the question. I would start by saying the work that we're doing with the ZTA, Executive Order 14082, I think is
Job one.
Yeah, job one for everyone. So maybe that doesn't count. But one area where we really are focusing is how do we fast track our data adoption, data transformation within the department. For a while, we didn't have we weren't making as much progress that we could have been making with regards to the sort of data transformation. So I think our chief data officer is working on this issue and seeing how we can collaborate between the offices and making sure that over the next couple of years that we make some real progress, because there's a ton of data, as you could imagine, within the department. And that's one. The other one, I think, is really aligning our innovation strategy with really the enterprise strategy. What I mean by that is, we have a roadmap for what we think should happen from an IT perspective. And we have this sort of innovation arm that we're using to sort of help to guide that in terms of execution. So we really are focusing on, how what we're doing, making sure that what we're doing is consistent and is supporting the overall enterprise strategy. For example, we know that the low code space is a tremendous sort of opportunity, present a tremendous opportunity, right? With a ton of data, low barrier to entry. All of these things are making this space really attractive. So one of the efforts that we're working on, that we've been working on, since the beginning of the year, is standing up what we're calling a low code platform factory. This is where we're creating a strategy around how we engage with these platforms and how we make sure that we're providing efficient, timely, and secure service to our customers. And there's a ton of data in this. You wouldn't. I'm sure everyone can imagine how much data is there. There's a lot of data transformation that needs to happen before we can sort of present the information, present the data. So these are some of the things that we're looking at over the next year, and hopefully we'll be able to make some significant progress there.
Sounds like some fantastic things to be focusing on. Nicole, top two priorities for you over at the OIG.
Okay, so I'm going to say zero trust.
Gotta say it, right?
I have to. We are strategically kind of working on our journey to kind of implement our zero trust architecture, building out our roadmap. We spent a lot of time kind of looking at what our capability maturity is, and kind of prioritizing building out that multiple year roadmap. We're also kind of working on the people part of that, transforming the culture in the organization to kind of enable adopting a zero trust architecture, and making sure that we are still providing good customer experience for them. The other thing is a multi-cloud. As I said, we're doing a lot of work in kind of moving and building our solutions in the cloud, but really building that multi-cloud architecture that we can, strategically place our solutions and move solutions when needed across our environments, and really kind of optimize what that looks like to meet our business objectives.
Laser focused on some very important areas. Rob, number one priority at Cloudera.
So right now, it is literally that first mile of data movement. I heard a couple of people here. Gardy, I'd love to help you with your challenges. We actually are helping several organizations within the DOE fabric, if you will. But that's our focus right now, because we're sensing that all these transformation efforts start with this very first simple movement. Locate, find it, move it, enrich it. Then you can take advantage of the decision agility that data brings to you, but you have to get it from where it is to where you want it. So that's our focus right now, moving data.
Very good focus area and super important. Nick, number one priority for Verizon at this point.
Yeah, I'm going to back it back down to fundamental basics, which is contracting. Everything we're talking about is amazing and it's great. But if you can't contract for it, it's going to be very difficult to implement. And so our focus right now in federal at Verizon is EIS, Enterprise Infrastructure Solutions Contract. I want to highlight HHS and their A on their recent FITARA scorecard. Department of Labor got an A as well. I know there's a lot of focus on this, and we need to make sure we effectively transition off of networks and the local WITS contract onto EIS so that we can take advantage of all of these new capabilities and services in an easy contract.
And there's such a wide swath of capability inside of that contract. So we really do appreciate that and congratulate you for being awarded that. Scott, number one priority for BMC.
Going to really be around our back-end systems and making sure it's easy to do business with BMC. So the modernization of some of the order management processes and contract management processes, things like that. And, we have a huge project going on in that area, but number two would always be security. So security is always top of mind, and it's a big deal for us, Luke, as you know.
Tighten up those back ends and make sure they're secure. Well, we only have a few more moments left, and we always like to wrap up. Just talking about the future, and then actually, Scott, we're going to start with you, and we're going to ask you to sort of, look out 2 or 3 years. What's it going to look like 2 to 3 years from now? What are we going to be conversing on this show, talking about in regards to IT modernization?
In my opinion, it's all about automation everywhere. And the example I gave you of failing over Oracle to DR in a matter of minutes versus hours, I want to have that same capability with a one button push to fail over every business system in my infrastructure. That is a number one priority as well. Have 100% software as a service, public cloud infrastructure. We have 4 data centers left, and quite frankly, I want them gone.
Fully realized and fully automated. Nick, a lot of activity going on over at Verizon. Let's assume that all of the EIS has been unlocked. 5G has been completely deployed. What are we going to see in 3 years from now?
Yeah, I think what we saw a few years into the deployment of LTE was the blossoming of Web 2.0. 5G is going to enable a similar transformation, and we're going to be all talking about, what 5G has unlocked. And I think what it means for the federal agencies is going to be the rise of private networks, where you take a broad network and make it your own in each individual space, each individual office or complex, and really customize that network for that local need. So I think we're going to see the rise of 5G as well as private networks throughout federal government.
Looking forward to that. Thank you very much. Rob, you've been in a lot of very key positions across the federal community, inside federal service, outside. What are you expecting to see over the course of 3 years as sort of you're steering the helm there at Cloudera?
I'd like to see I don't want to say democratization or commodity AI, ML access to data. Today, you have to have a data scientist. I'm seeing heads nod here, Gardy's head and Nicole's head. You have to have this hen's tooth of a person, right? Can't find them. And if you find them, you got to pay them a lot. But we have to broaden the ability to use data that isn't there today. Today, it's very difficult and complicated to make use of AI and ML for everyday use. So the commoditization of those technologies to enable agile decision-making at lower levels in the organization is where I'd like to see in the next 2-3 years, the industry go, so that the front end of the access, the tool that you would access an engine like ours is available to lots of folks, so that they could run their query, do what they need to do to support not just the macro missions of agencies, but now the missions further down. I think that helps transform the agencies faster and their ability to do their jobs.
Certainly pushes information down there, pushes the ability to make decisions. It's almost like I'm hearing sort of citizen development in a sort of a data-centric Cloudera kind of environment, if you will.
Correct.
and empowering that individual, which sounds awesome. Looking forward to that. Nicole, if I'm a freshly minted special agent, I got this case management system and these laptops, and they give me a firearm and a badge, and what's my experience going to be 3 years from now as I enter on duty at the IG?
So I want you to have access to a strong, kind of modern and secure application and service portfolio that's hosted in our multi-cloud ecosystem. And for that, I really want to see us strategically use AI, automation, and orchestration really to help be a workforce multiplier and empower our human staff to focus on the high impact and high value work.
Right. Looking forward to that. It sounds awesome. I know you all are well on your way to doing that, so I appreciate that. Melanie, I'm a freshly minted diplomat, right? I just got assigned to Morocco. You gave me this device for life, whatever that means, right? We know what it means. That's an awesome idea, by the way. Yeah. So what are you anticipating that experience to look like 3 years from now as you all are on this journey to really transform the State Department?
Nicole made it very easy for me because I'm going to say everything that she just said. I see employees working from anywhere and everywhere. We are no longer going to be constrained by a location and things of that nature. We're going to be able to do it securely. And this is even going to stretch out to some of our classified activities. We're no longer going to be constrained to, brick and mortar and things of that nature of a federal facility or a lease facility, things of that nature. We want them to be able to come in, and we have to be able to provide that secure platform so that they can provide the service back to the department, the mission in which they have been hired to achieve. And also, Nicole, you said it, that hybrid data center platform, multi-cloud, all of those things, that's where we're going, and that's our future in the near term.
I need to ask you there, are we talking about a high site environment in your home in 3 years?
I'm not saying don't put words in my mouth, Luke. And as you said earlier, more than I know.
I thought I might hear something like that.
But stranger things have happened. How about that?
Yeah. Well, I know there's a lot of great technology out there that is broaching that subject. So we'll see how that goes. Gardy, how about at Department of Energy 3 years from now, as you all are on this tear to really transform, you've got this playbook out there. Perhaps you've run all those plays. Is there another set of playbooks, or what are we doing in 3 years?
Well, you never know. We try to be as helpful as we can from the Department of Energy. But one of the things,
and we really do, again, appreciate that on behalf of the community. Awesome publication. Make sure you get out there and take a look at it.
Yes, please do. And thank you for that. Look, we're very proud of the work, and it's when you read it, you'll see it's feedback from the larger community. It's not just DOE. Really, as I was sitting here kind of thinking about or listening to everyone speaking, I feel like we're making a cake, right? It seems like we're sort of building on top of each other's sort of comments and thoughts, and which tells me that we're having the right conversation. So from my perspective, I think there's a phrase that I don't know if it's native to me, but I've been trying to push it, is we need to be more innovative and predictive. Whereas a lot of time we've been proactive and reactive. We all know what reactive is, right? The problem, something happens, we try to figure out what happens, and proactive is, hey, let's try to do this before, let's move our software from this infrastructure to that infrastructure so that we don't have an infrastructure failure. And whereas we're not looking at the technology as it's coming in and figure out how can it help us to sort of fast track to our digital transformation. So these are the things that I think we're going to try to do from our department, and I think I expect to see a little bit more from the rest of the federal space. But the two other things that I think we'll see is that we'll see more sort of accessible and affordable innovation because of some of these things we talked about here, right? There's a lot of tooling that's coming in to make data more accessible and to basically allowing us to deploy capabilities more quickly, fail over more quickly. All of these things I think are extremely important. And then we talked about the customer experience. I think I expect us to see a little bit more adaptable application tools in ways that really is supporting the business and helping us to sort of deliver, a really, really true mission value outcome. So those are the things that I look forward to. They're not necessarily technology wise, but I think if we sort of keep these things in mind, I think we'll do really, really well.
And super important. Well, we're going to do a quick turbo round. Nicole, I'm going to start with you. Top lesson learned that you have sort of discovered, good or bad, if you will, or positive or not positive, in regards to as you're on this modernization journey that you'd like to share with the community?
I think the biggest lesson learned area is just as I think Melanie just mentioned this, we are transforming people. So just really kind of taking the time it takes to address the culture and provide the change management support to the people of our organization. We are introducing a lot of change, a lot of new applications to them at one time. So we really kind of worked on starting early and providing a lot of support as far as change management and some of the enterprise architecture support to help our partners along the journey with modernization applications.
Sure, both the IT employees and the operators, right? I imagine both of them getting a lot of new changes. Melanie, top lesson learned as you've gone on this transformation journey.
Gardy said they were building a cake, so standing on the first layer what Nicole threw out there, I'm just going to throw out there continual communication, building your platforms where you're not stovepiped into one vendor or one technology as far as vendor agnostic. Let me just put it like that.
Sure.
Where we have the flexibility. Rob talked about data and things of that nature. How do you integrate this information that you may have on an old legacy system and you're trying to build modernize, but you still need data? How do you integrate to make sure that you're not losing or you're most efficient in retrieving that data? So I just put it out there. I'm adding that layer to the cake.
Gardy, take us home on your number one top lesson learned.
So I will shamelessly do it. I'll fall back on the scaling IT modernization playbook. One of the key takeaways from all the interviews we had with CISOs, CIOs, and chief data officers and whatnot was that technology was rarely the barrier when it comes to IT modernization, right? And I think Melanie kind of talk about this, right? Oftentimes we sort of we miss the soft tissue. I think someone kind of put it like that, with soft tissue kind of problems, which are people, processes, policy, politics, and culture. Right. Those are some of the things that we learned. And lastly, sort of falling back to where we were, small incremental progress is just as important as sort of, a huge behemoth kind of deployment. So those are some of the things that we learned, and we hope to do, we hope to apply some of these lessons learned as we continue to execute it toward our mission and vision for the department.
Excellent words of wisdom for the community. Well, I'd like to thank each of our guests here for taking the time out of their busy schedules to join us on this program. I'd like to thank all of our sponsors for supporting us on the show. I'd like to thank the good people here at Federal News Network that make this program so successful and enjoyable. And most of all, I'd like to thank the listening audience out there that tune in every month. You're listening to the Federal Executive Forum, part of the Federal News Network.